Hello, and welcome to the Foreside Spotlight Series. Today's discussion is with Doug Fortin and Marianne Gonzalez from National Quality Review, also known as NQR. Doug is president and a founding partner of NQR, and Marianne is a client success manager. NQR's independent analysis provides trusted, unbiased insight into third-party shareholder servicing, distribution, custody, and all other major operations. NQR was founded in 1991, and their 50-plus employees service 52 clients within 6 main service lines, including, of course, the intermediary insight service. Doug and Marianne, welcome to the latest Foreside Spotlight Series.
Thanks, Mark. Looking forward to it. Very much appreciate it.
Of course, thank you. And we are excited to partner with NQR to bring your intermediary insight service to Foreside's clients. As you know, the primary purpose of our Spotlight series is to provide an initial introduction into NQR, which includes a detailed understanding that one may not get from a website or a fact sheet. A secondary purpose is to deliver relevant information concerning the regulatory landscape and how your service team can assist 40 Act fund managers with their compliance obligations, and in this case with respect to their oversight of intermediary relationships. But before we begin, both of you have a very interesting and diverse background. It would be beneficial for our listeners to hear a bit more about you and your history with NQR. And with that, I'll start with you, Marianne.
Thanks, Mark. I have been with NQR for over 20 years. I am a client success manager working with clients in our customer loyalty, transfer agent, intermediary, and service provider insight services. Previously, I worked at MassMutual as a senior director in the variable annuity and variable life operations department. Doug?
Yeah, thanks, Marianne. I started my career actually with Fidelity and Putnam in their technology centers, and at the time we were implementing large-scale scanning and imaging platforms for our back office operations. These were mutual fund operations, and at that time it was a pretty exciting time to be in the industry because a lot of the technology that we were dealing with to handle our growth was pretty new, and in fact a lot of this stuff was not available commercially for large operations like ours. So we had an opportunity to work with some of the big technology vendors like IBM, and we worked with them to develop all the hardware and software. Some of this stuff had to be developed from scratch, so we were able to work with them to design what we needed to support our big back office operations and to integrate the hardware and software with our legacy IBM platforms. And so, like I said, that was an exciting time to be working with that type of technology, and a lot of what was learned there was very useful to us when we started NQR a few years later. So
that's great. I'm sorry, Doug, go ahead.
Yeah, sorry, Mark. Yeah, it was like I said, it was a really exciting time for us, and as you can see from this slide, there was a lot of growth in the mutual fund industry at the time. The mutual fund assets were just exploding, and a lot of the clients that we started working with in those early days were really having a hard time keeping up with the growth. And part of the issue was understanding with reliability where things were happening, where things were working well, where things were not working well. And so we started our firm to work with those large organizations in their back offices to help them collect data that was statistically reliable and give them internal operating measures that would point to those things that needed to be worked on to cope with the growth. We also, in those early days, were providing a lot of benchmarking information so that they could see how they were comparing to a lot of their competitors at the time. And actually that type of benchmarking has been one of the key measures that we provided to our clients across all of our services over the years. The technology at the time when we were starting the firm was just starting to be at a stage that would allow us to do this type of work. We were connecting with these large back office operations, and we needed the technology to be to a point that would allow us to tap into those operations and collect the data that our clients needed to make informed decisions about what was happening in the back offices. You can see from this chart on the right that clients were, over time, continuing to make progress and improve their operations using a lot of the data that we were providing that was helping them identify what they needed to make some changes to get better.
Yeah, that's great. It's a very interesting background, and 30 plus years certainly has, lent a lot of expertise, for you and your firm in this area. If we look at your company overview, Doug, can you provide a brief overview of NQR services and how they've developed throughout these 30 years?
Yeah, Mark. In the beginning, we were almost exclusively focused on the big internal operations, the operations that were responsible for supporting very millions of customers, actually millions of shareholders that were buying shares at the time of mutual funds. And so our services were focused on pointing to those back office operations and helping clients understand where they needed to make change. Over time, we began expanding our services into other areas and started collecting data into a lot of the peripheral operating areas, and including doing a lot of work with customer loyalty. So all of that information helped our clients understand the operations and also understand the customer experiences and how customers were reacting to all of those changes that our clients were making. As time went on, the business model changed pretty dramatically. A lot of the intermediaries began doing accounting for themselves by setting up omnibus accounting accounts and then doing all of their own sub-accounting. And that transition resulted in the mutual fund companies needing to expand their oversight of those intermediary partnerships. And so we launched our initial intermediary insight platform not too long after the industry had come up with a framework to help the industry measure those things that were going on at the intermediary level so that the fund companies could feel comfortable about those relationships and the oversight of those relationships. And then as time went on, customers realized that that kind of information that they were getting through our intermediary insight platform were the types of services that they would need to expand into a broader set of service providers. The industry is required to implement robust oversight services, oversight procedures for their service providers, and our expansion into that area has helped them do that. So we've continued to work very closely with our clients over time, looking at their needs as they change and building out our services to help them meet those needs.
And Mary Ann, we know that NQR has a very experienced team. Can you provide us an overview of the team and discuss how you differentiate yourselves from your competitors?
Well, certainly, Mark. The Audit Doc Review team has a variety of certifications from FINRA to the American Society for Quality, just to mention a few. The team comes to NQR from multidisciplinary backgrounds, although altogether they have over 20 years of industry experience, as well as a majority of them have longevity with NQR. Our document review team is also very experienced at analyzing audit doc reports. NQR reviews audit documents from over 100 intermediaries per year. They are well versed at doing an in-depth review of these documents based on the industry's FICA framework, and we have been doing this for many years.
And as it relates to, our partnership was really the purpose for our spotlight call today. Would you speak to the scope of intermediary insight service and specifically, what is the value that clients receive from this service?
Certainly, Mark. The NQR Intermediary Insight Service bolsters your oversight program through the industry's most in-depth audit report review. The value you are getting in return is a more economical and effective audit report review. By letting NQR do the work for you, you will receive our expert review of the FICA and the SOC reports utilizing an 82-part framework that maps to the ICI FICA framework. This allows you to view our analysis across your intermediary population. You can shift your focus to high priority and easily draw conclusions and developing action plans. And it's a consistent method to analyze and compare your intermediaries. And you can do all of this by spending very little time reading the audit document. Each addressed control will have page citations and corresponding links on our Insight portal, which makes it easy for you to view these findings in the audit docs. This process produces the most extensive intermediary operations review through the lens of industry-endorsed control areas. Capitalizing on our 20-plus years of experience in data analytics, the NQR Intermediary Insight Platform provides comprehensive reporting and data consolidation. You'll find the interactive dashboards and targeting reports give you the ability to quickly focus on areas requiring attention and help you streamline board reporting. You will have point-by-point intermediary comparison that will highlight outliers. And our query reporting will give you the ability to pinpoint relevant exceptions and identify gaps. Our clients find our service and reporting serves many purposes. It helps you with board reporting, having more meaningful discussions with intermediaries, and demonstrate your ability with internal audit that you are meeting your oversight responsibilities. We also provide ongoing benchmarking, which helps you to have the ability to see how you're doing in comparison with your industry peers. And finally, our FINRA disciplinary functionality gives you real-time FINRA news and provides the broker check reporting data in a usable and easily analyzed format.
And to continue that same line of thinking, the next two slides are very specific as it relates to your process and really dives into, how you manage, the system and provide the service to your clients. So would you mind spending a little bit of time, walking our audience through your audit report review process and discuss any important aspects that perhaps you haven't touched on already that clients should be aware of during the onboarding process and thereafter?
Sure. The onboarding process is very easy. Basically, what we need is a list of your intermediaries that you would like to be on your portal and the users. Once we have that, the process is that Foreside would collect the audit documents from the intermediaries. They're able to securely upload these documents directly to the Insight platform. And once that takes place, the NQR team is notified and they start to review these reports by using the 82 controls that have been mapped to the ICI FICA framework. The team will ask 3 questions for each control. Was it addressed? Was it tested? Was it sufficiently addressed? And those answers make up our FICA gap analysis. They will note any findings by the auditor and whether the report had a qualified opinion. All of the analysis is published to the Insight portal with the auditor comments on the exception findings and management responses, as well as the audit document hyperlinks to specific references in the report for ease of use. And the beauty of the system is this information is then in a database that the site can use to give you usable information in various formats. Once everything is in the Insight platform, the Fund Family user can log in and view the data. And this makes it easy for our clients so that they do not need to go through the reports. They can simply go to the Insight platform and see everything in one place. Our reporting will provide meaningful point-by-point intermediary comparison and highlight the outliers, and it will allow you to focus on the high priority controls, and all of that reporting is exportable to various formats to bring to meetings, such as Excel, Word, PowerPoint. For example, we have one of our reports here, which is really a dashboard. This report was designed with our clients to give you the overall summary view of the intermediary's analysis. The ability to trend controls sufficient over time and compare the sufficiency to the tier average. You have a snapshot view of the areas of focus within complete controls, and these will be sorted in priority order so you can focus on what's important. We also provide the auditor's commentary that's in the reports because this is an interactive dashboard, you can expand the control and commentary areas. And again, as I said, this report and any of the others would be exportable to any format you like.
Well, you certainly have a very well thought out and tested product. And as we sort of move forward here, with this Spotlight series, is there anything else that you or Doug would like to share with our audience concerning NQR or specifically the Intermediary Insight on product?
Well, we'd like to close by saying that NQR provides an objective third-party assessment, and our service allows small and large companies to spend more time in remediation versus reading and analyzing reports. And the service helps build stronger partnerships between the fund family and the intermediary. And it easily provides due diligence to company boards and the SEC.
And as discussed, we're very excited to be working, with you both, and certainly thank, you and Doug for your time today and presenting this information, and look forward to having further discussions with our clients. So with that, that wraps up our presentation. And again, thank you both.
Thank you, Mark.